Rory Mcilroy is a father, husband, four-time major champion, and Ryder Cup veteran. It is without a doubt that Rory is all of that and more. But you won't believe what pro golfers like Lee Westwood, Phil Mickelson, and Justin Thomas have to say about this promising golfer. Rory Mcilroy once had an easygoing, carefree persona, but he has recently grown to be the conscience of golf. What are the players saying about him? Let's find out what pro golfers are saying about Rory Mcilroy. At 22, Rory became the youngest player to earn $10 million on the European Tour. Now 33 years old, the pro golfer has risen to number 1 in the official world golf ranking after achieving the feat a decade ago. However, there was a time in his young career when things were going differently than he expected. Rory was being quizzed about his decision to change clubs during the Ryder Cup, which ended in a loss for the European team. His actions when he walked off the course mid-tournament during a Honda Classic event were also being questioned. Lee Westwood came to Rory's rescue with some words of sympathy. He acknowledged that he was also in the same position as a golfer and was sure that Rory would rise above these mistakes. He said, "I admit, though, that I have definitely felt like walking off the course at times. Rory is a quick learner. He won't do it again." Westwood admits that he resonates with Rory Mcilroy and can detect a kindred spirit in Mcilroy's character. Westwood believes that Mcilroy is doing what's right for his golfing career. When asked about Rory's potential, Westwood said he's certain Mcilroy will go on to win 10 majors. Mcilroy shares the same neighborhood with Westwood at the Old Palm Golf Club in West Palm Beach. Westwood says Rory, like every other golfer, is tired of being judged and scrutinized every time. He's certain that the golfer still has more to offer. Rory enjoys a win rate of over 27%, and Westwood doesn't think a modern player like Mcilroy should be compared to players from different eras, like Jack Nicklaus or Arnold Palmer. Lee Westwood is one of many golfers who thinks Rory Mcilroy is worthy of praise. Justin Thomas says nobody acts better, more humble, and more grounded than Rory Mcilroy. Justin Thomas believes that many players look up to Mcilroy, who has earned more than 20 PGA Tour victories. Justin admits that Rory has achieved more than he has on tour and wishes younger golfers on tour would look up to him. Justin had this to say about Rory's personality. "I remember being a rookie and moving down to Jupiter, and he was out at Bears Club. Being the person I am, wanting to learn, going up to him and saying, 'Hey, I'd love to play sometime,' introduced myself, and he's like, 'Anytime,' and gave me his number. And we kind of hit it off. We're very similar personalities." Justin says Rory Mcilroy is a leader, but also sees him as a competitor he needs to beat. While Justin is still trying to match up to Rory McIlroy's feats, another golfer whose success eclipses Rory's also holds some admiration for the player. After McIlroy successfully defended the CJ Cup at the Congaree Golf Club in South Carolina, he became number 1 in the official world golf ranking. Phil Mickelson congratulated McIlroy on his success. Mickelson, a 6-time major winner, says, "I think a lot of Rory. I really have the utmost respect for him, and I look at what he's done in the game and how he's played this year and his win last week and number 1 in the world now, and I have a ton of respect for him." Rory has faced much criticism in recent years due to a slight slump in performance, but Ian Poulter still stands by him. Poulter had this to say about Rory. He said Rory is probably pound for pound the most consistent golfer on the planet. When you look at how many top 5s and top 10s he has, his record is incredible. Poulter also went on to talk about how people expect so much of him because of his incredible talent. And people seem to have forgotten just how talented he is because he hasn't won a major in a few years. Poulter admits he knows what it feels like to be in that position. He said Rory Mcilroy is one of the most motivated golfers I've ever seen, and one of the most professional. He's extremely knowledgeable about the game of golf and about his own game, and he's always looking to make improvements. McIlroy has recently enjoyed a streak of success, and he has gotten more vocal. Right now, Rory is one of the most vocal supporters of the tour, an action that has elevated him into a leadership role in the PGA Tour. When you've won 4 major championships in your career, people will definitely listen to what you have to say. Rory won the US Open in 2011, in 2012 he won the PGA Championship, in 2014 he won the Open Championship and the PGA Championship. Rory's stunning rise back to number 1 has coincided with the emergence of the Saudi-backed LIV Golf. Rory is a huge supporter of the PGA Tour and the DP World Tour, and he believes that Greg Norman's rival Invitational Tour has no place in golf. Rory believes that the LIV Golf Tour exists only because the Saudis used millions to attract some of the game's biggest stars. Despite the disdain from players like Rory and Justin Thomas, LIV Golf hopes to grow stronger. The league is looking to plan bigger events to improve its standing among pro golfers. Rory is a Ryder Cup veteran who has represented Europe at the Ryder Cup several times. He won for Europe against the United States in 2010, 2012, 2014, and 2018. Rory is most frustrated because most of his former Ryder Cup teammates have signed up for LIV Golf. Rory believes these players have jeopardized an opportunity to compete in the Ryder Cup by turning their back on the traditional aspect of golf. Players like Lee Westwood, Ian Poulter, Henrik Stenson, and Sergio Garcia built steady relationships with Rory by playing together in the Ryder Cup. However, Rory claims he felt betrayed when they all defected to the LIV Series. Rory says, "I would like to think the Ryder Cup means as much to them as it does to me. Maybe it does, but knowing what the consequences could be, I just could never make that decision. Okay, it might not be 100% certain that it could be the outcome. It just isn't a move I would be willing to make." I thought they felt the same way. Greg Norman is the head of the LIV Golf Tour, and Rory isn't happy old Greg is stealing all his friends away to a rival tour. Norman spent 331 weeks as the #1 player during his professional career. After returning to the #1 spot, Rory Mcilroy saw an opportunity to take a jab at the LIV CEO. McIlroy says he wants to top Greg Norman's record and stay at the top of the rankings for 332 weeks. Being Rory, he did not fail to mention that he now has more wins than Greg Norman on the PGA Tour. Norman doesn't seem to be affected by this jab from McIlroy. He asks Rory not to feel betrayed by players who have left the PGA or European Tour for the LIV Golf Tour. Speaking directly to Rory McIlroy, Norman said, "Well, my message is, Rory, you're an independent contractor. You have the right to make your decision." Norman didn't stop there. He reminded us that Rory started on the European Tour but decided to leave that tour for the PGA Tour, where the money was. He points out that the reason for the creation of LIV Golf was to give players other options besides the official tours. He says if Rory wants to go to the Middle East and earn money for appearing in tournaments, he has no qualms with that. That's his choice. Rory's disposition has changed since he rose to fame after winning the US Open in 2011. He stands behind the PGA Tour because he believes in the legacy built by legends like Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus. He thinks the legacy of the PGA Tour isn't getting the praise it deserves, and people switching to LIV Golf need to see the bigger picture for golf. Rory believes that LIV Golf should be left to older players whose glory days are past them and not younger players who still have their whole careers ahead of them. According to Rory, these players are taking the easy way out. Chris Belgian is an American professional golfer who has only played one qualifying event in 2022 and is ranked at the bottom of the world rankings at 2,815th. Compared to Rory, his words don't hold much sway in the golfing community. But he came out to call out Rory for talking about feeling betrayed by players who defected to LIV Golf. Belgian called Rory McIlroy golf's biggest crybaby. If you enjoyed this video about pro golfers speaking out about Rory McIlroy, check out the video on the screen now, or the one we posted below, because we're sure you'll like that one too. See you there!